5:55. So, will you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Assign roll call, please.
Mr. Clevenger,
Present.
Justin Croy,
Here.
Jenny Monroe, here, Sally Tardy, here.
Okay, let's have an update on 24 CUB 001 Cooper, 205 Akron Street, Culver, Indiana.
Okay. Just a little update. Start with, I'll give you the history. So on November 12th of 24, an enforcement authority order to take action was issued for 205 Akron Street to demolish the house and clear the lot of trash, debris, and vegetation. It went before this board, and property executor, Mr. Cooper, presented a plan for corrections at 205 Akron Street. And on that plan, when we met last, Mr. Cooper hadn't met or was on track, but there was a couple things that the dates were in March when we said that wasn't reasonable and moved those to May. And since that time, the things that have not been accomplished is the fascia and soffits around the house are deteriorated. They must be repaired. That was going to be completed by May 1st of 2025. Within the last week or two, the front porch has been demolished. I checked at the beginning of the month, that was still standing, but that is demolished now. And there are outbuildings and storage sheds that are overgrown and appear to be deteriorating. And that hasn't been cleaned up, as well as block retaining wall around the west and south along the sidewalk is deteriorated and needs repaired also. Although not directly related to the house, it's still a safety concern for the public with that retaining wall falling down. Since during this week, went out and confirmed what I just said was complete or not complete. That's due it May 1st. And at that time, if I may, I have some additional pictures I can hand out too. So I zoomed in, this is on the south end side of the house. There's approximately a 2x3. These are new things that I've seen since when I was checking the house for completion of last items. There's a 2x3 opening in the basement that just has this glass, looks like outdoor table leaned up against the wall. That is still open. Animals can easily vermin can get in and out of that. So that's an additional thing I discovered on the property, as well as the second picture is zoomed in on a window, and on the inside of the window, on the inside window ledge, is a dead bird. What I didn't capture is the wasp nest to the right of that also. I zoom this in, which leads me to believe there's more concerns on the inside of the property. Also, we haven't had an opportunity to get in to see. And I guess I'd ask Mr. Cooper if I and the county building inspector, if you take us inside the house. County building. Well, it's going to need both of us. Because represent Culver.
I'm not comfortable with you going in with what you've done so far.
Okay.
Well, I think a court order.
So yeah, that's what I was going to ask if you can get a warrant for us to enter the property.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you'd like some more pictures, I'll provide those. Otherwise, that's the update on this property. It remains my recommendation that the conditions have not been met. We found even more additional unsafe issues with this property. And my stance is still that I believe this property needs demolished.
Cooper,
Yes, sir.
any comments?
I've been working on the house. I mean, I didn't expect winter to last until the middle of April. And as you all know, it's been raining like crazy. And I've been down there. You can talk to the Cerises if you want. They walk by there almost every day when they're down there working. As far as the bird in the window, I don't know. And this first picture, that's a basement window behind there.
Is the window intact in there?
As far as I know.
I don't see.
It appears to be open.
Yeah, I'll check it.
That's the reason for the table to be put in front
No,
of it.
that's not the reason the table is. The table has been there.
What is that other piece? Is that a piece of fence?
Yeah,
So is that stacked so the table is held against that window? Is that the
no,
purpose of
it's
it?
a vinyl fence that I leaned there, and that's the posts for to cover the 4x4s. The plastic, that's what's laying on the ground behind it. I leaned it up there when I was mowing.
Go ahead and note the
I
picture
can
shows.
see why there's an assumption that there's not a window on that opening. Because it looks like it was all set up to cover that opening. I mean, I would assume the same thing.
I note there's also debris clearly in the picture, still laying around also right there.
If we were to just go move that table right now, Bob, are you saying there's a window behind it?
Yeah. That table's been there for a long time. To say that I intentionally put it there to cover up, to hide something is ridiculous. I did not do that. And the window frame that you're seeing laying there in the picture is one of them that I replaced with a new window. And I had it leaned up against the fence and the wind apparently blew it over. I also have just to the right of that, construction materials. Yeah, I've already put a new roof on it. I put siding on the back half of the house. I've got siding on the front down to the top of the door and window. I need to finish building the deck before I can finish the siding. I mean, I've been working on it. I'm not hearing anything that falls under the unsafe building to the extent of demolition.
No, structure's dilapidated.
No, it's not.
And
And the fascia that you keep talking about, I've explained to you multiple times. Those were boards that my brother put up there to put gutter. And the gutter fell off, the boards were not treated. It's always been an open rafter tail. There's never been siding or soffit or fascia on it. And I'm gonna take those boards back off. It just hasn't made it to the top of my list because there's more important things I've been working. But the OSB that you were worried about, I cut out, I replaced. I tie-backed the whole house, I reflagged everything. The fact that there is house wrap over the OSB on the front where the door and window are meets the criteria for water resistant, which takes that off of the unsafe building.
Tankers, or do you have anything?
I mean, I would have to meet with building department and go through their file. If he needs into the property, we could look at the proper legal process to do that if Mr. Cooper doesn't want to agree to it. But no, this is the first time hearing about anything on the property.
If we can't have Steve enter it to determine structural soundness and to confirm that it's waterproofed and there isn't animals living in it, that sort of thing. Because it's really hard to tell, like if we walked over there and pulled that glass away, what are we gonna find?
I don't notice that dead bird wasn't there from when the window was broken out. It's obviously behind a blind, so I didn't see it.
Right, I think the whole premise though of that to me, Bob, is that this isn't a property being used, not going in and out of it to notice the dead bird, you know, that sort of activity, and it's been vacant for quite some time. There is state code on vacant properties, I think. We haven't adopted a local ordinance on it, to my knowledge, but the retaining wall isn't sound either. So that one's more visible because it's right there by the street where we can actually assess it. But if we can't go in the building to further assess, you have to go by what's on the outside and whether or not you're making the deadlines. Right?
And this whole thing's based off of the outside of the house. I mean,
Right.
my intention is when I get this done, I think my daughter Marcella is gonna move in. So the heat has been on the whole time.
Is there water?
The electric's on, the water is turned off. At one point, we had tried to have the water turned on. The town went down, turned it on, said something was leaking, they turned it back off, said it was on our side.
There's
It
like damage to the vertical line?
came out of the, where they turned the water on first. So I'm assuming, because it's right in the edge of the street. So I'm assuming that it's broke right at the shut. But I haven't, until I get ready to turn the water back on, I'm trying to get everything else done.
So without water, the house isn't habitable. And not, at this time, there's not an ability to turn the water on. It hasn't been for at least 2, maybe 3 years.
Can you address the deadline, Bob? Because I thought the deadlines were pretty reasonable when we looked at them last fall or
Well,
what, December timeframe. I can't remember exactly, but I remember us getting the dates.
in January. After I put the roof on.
Mr. Monroe, you have a recommendation?
You know, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it being unsafe and demoing someone's property. I take that pretty seriously, but I'm also taking seriously the number of times we've addressed this particular property. And you know, from that standpoint, I don't feel like we're getting anywhere. And I would honor the premise you're coming from that it's not unsafe if our own inspector could see the inside of it. But as long as you're not going to allow that, all we have is the outside and the deadlines that were set, and you haven't honored that part of it. So for me, it's, let's move on.
Mr. Shardy?
You know, I know that he has met the deadlines, but I feel for him. Because he's put a new roof on, you know, siding. It's guy by himself, basically, trying to fix it up. I think the inside of the house is probably sound, but his mother wasn't. So. And there's a lot of stuff on the inside which might detract from somebody's going in, taking a look at it and saying, this is sound or this isn't sound. But I do bet the house is basically sound. And I
Can you
think
see the
it's-
ceiling and the walls of the structure inside the house? If someone entered it today, can they physically see the structure?
Well, look, you can see like the drywall plaster. I mean, it's a finished inside house.
And it's not falling in.
No. No part of it. I can move in there today.
If you brought your own water.
Yeah.
The problem though is you've got vermin obviously have entered. There's not,
There's a bird in
Upbeat.
the window that could have happened when the window was broke.
right, I'm kind of saying that's the only thing living there. Like it's not been habitable for a long time. At what point do we say to get it habitable or tear it out?
It's been habitable. It just, my brother used to stay there when he came up from Alabama. But with all of the family stuff that happened, nobody's been staying. And then the deal happened with the water. I mean, if I need to get the water fixed, I'll get the water fixed. I had it turned off anyway.
That's correct.
Yeah, Steve have improvements been made from what we asked the first time? And are we going in the right direction? Is Mr. Cooper going in the right direction?
Well, the answer is he's completed some of the tasks he said he would complete, but not all on time. And some are overdue.
Why are there no pictures of what I've done?
Why didn't you bring some?
I tend to agree kind of with what Sally said. I think a new roof's a significant investment of intention on the direction we're trying to go. I know deadlines haven't been met, and I, with that, tend to agree with Jenny that, you know, we put those deadlines in place generously.
Well, on the other side of that, I was also told that the deadlines were not set in stone. As long as I was working on it, he would work with it, but that's not the case.
And I think that it's a lot to ask a guy to do this by himself, and I think it's a lot to go to demolishing a property because some things aren't where we would like to see them.
Well, the county assesses the house at $161,000, the structure. So I find it hard to believe that it needs to be demolished when it's assessed at that high of a value.
That's my recommendation is to reset reasonable deadlines with not as much time as we've given the last time. And if we don't see significant improvements, I think the next deadline, I would like to see all the things that we asked the first time for sure be taken care of. And then address the new issues thereafter.
If I can comment.
Yes, so
Start with the roof was just over the back part. It's not a full new roof over the whole house. Clear, and what Mr. Croy just stated sounds very familiar to what we heard at the last meeting. So I would ask, how many times do we want to do that?
I think we're looking at a guy to have to tear a big investment down. That's why I think that as a citizen of the town, we're looking, going, we're gonna have a guy with a property and an investment in our community, and we're gonna tear it down because once again, we don't like the way that it looks. And I trust you, Steve. Don't take that the wrong way. I 100% trust you, and I know what you're trying to do here, and I know what your goal is. But I've been in a position of Mr. Cooper as well. And the last thing you want is big brother on your back, taking more pictures, adding more to the pot than what is there. To be honest with you, I'm a little unhappy that we're continuing to divide this up and break this down more and more and more and more. Give the man time to get what he gets done. He's worked towards it. He didn't get it all done. Okay. We're gonna, as long as you're making advances towards getting it done, we're gonna continue to give you time. That's my philosophy. Now, we're a group.
May I give you some timeline?
Go ahead.
So in 2021, 06/15, Culver Plan Commission meeting minutes, complaints made about the property, including the house not being maintained, odor, yard, retaining wall collapsing. Town manager asked town utilities to mow property, establish a lien. Member of public stated house is eyesore since 2007. 2022, March 30th, enforcement order to make repairs to the house, clean up debris and remove fire hazards inside the building. 2023, 10/10, letter from building commissioner to owner about safety concerns on the property. It goes on, 2023, 11/29, was notice of violation. One property owner, the property was in violation, not safe. The history here of this house having problems. And it's clearly been brought to the town's attention by the public as well. And currently, over this period of time, some work has been done, but never enough to maintain it. Do a little bit, but never quite get it there. At what point is it enough?
Steve, what is your reasoning to get inside the building?
Just to start with, to see if the inside of the house is, I think the outside speaks for itself, but to see if the inside is actually habitable also. I mean, we've got a dead animal in the picture inside the house that the owner wasn't even aware of.
I tend to agree, partially with Mr. Croy, but also Ms. Monroe. And I think we've been down this road too many times and too long. And, my feeling is that Bob, you may not like Steve doing this, but we do have the power to get a warrant if we can go in. So could you save us the problem about getting a warrant when you let him in?
Like I said, I'm willing to take the county building commissioner in. Mr. Gorski has not been honest in any part of this. He's still not. Matter of fact, when I called him at the end of April, told him I was not gonna make.
Okay, it's a yes or no, sir.
Yes or no, so
You're not willing to let him in?
no.
May I have a motion to draft a warrant, please?
I think we're in a unsafe building meeting where we can make motions for unsafe building committee, correct? Can I ask a quick question before we go in
Yes.
that direction to address Justin's issue? So Bob, we're at the 22nd, I think, but that past deadline was May 1st. What are you proposing to us that you would do? And if not making whatever you're gonna propose for a deadline, what do you propose we do with the house in that event? Because I think, we're trying to get this on the right track, and there's been some movement. Clearly, not all of the dates got met for whatever reason. But at what point do we draw that line? Are you willing to put that in writing in the sand and say, I'll draw the line right here if I'm not done by this date?
The first thing that I want to see is what part of the house, as it stands right now, meets unsafe to the point of demolition. Because I read that state statute, and the only thing I have to have on there is house wrap. I've house wrapped it, I've flashed it, I've sided the back part, and I've sided most of the front part. I thought I had more pictures on my phone, but I think my daughter has them. I was still working on it. The thing with the deck was either remove it or repair it. I've removed it. I have the materials. I'm building a new one. The materials are on site. You can go look at them. The siding's there. I've been working on it. I mean, weather's been killing me.
Assuming the weather straightens around, which may strange assumption in Indiana, how long do you think it would take to finish?
I mean, it's going to take me a few more weeks. I'm working evenings and weekends and I'm going to be gone for 10 days in June. So
Still asking for a motion for one.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to having us look at the inside and make that motion myself, but I want to arrive at, like, where do we draw the deadline in the sand and say, this is it for sure, because you agreed to it. And I totally get the investment side of it. I've owned property in the town too that needed work. And it's tough to do when you have a full-time job, et cetera. Believe me, I have empathy for that. If I didn't have empathy, I would have climbed down your throat when I was town manager on this, because this house has been around a while with these issues. This isn't new. It's newer to our newer council members for sure, but I just want to see the progress continue and not have this halt and then we're back in here again and then halt, we're back in here again. And, you know, it does look like there could be animals entering it. That's never good, especially for your neighbors too.
I mean,
And we have to consider the neighbors. You know, we really do. Property values, et cetera. People don't want to be living next to a vacant property or an eyesore, et cetera. I'm willing to work out, say 90 days. But then I won't be in this position. And I felt like this is where we were last fall when I said, I'm sort of at the end of the rope with this property. But I was willing, there was a calendar worked out. You guys had an agreement between the two of you. That original list isn't done yet. That's the bottom line. New stuff aside, the original still needs to be completed. And, you know, I know you have to have resources to do that, whether it's buying stuff or labor.
I have the materials there. It's literally been the weather. I've been down there every day that it's nice enough.
Well, on an NDOT project, we would be flexible about weather. So I could be flexible about that for maybe the next 90 days. Because if this were an NDOT project and they were 10 days behind because of weather, you know, by their standards, we would give that 10 days back. So I'm going to say, I'll give you back 90 days, the last 120 maybe. But beyond that, I would have real trouble not saying, let's move on.
You want to put that into a motion?
Yeah, I think we've been asked to do several versions at this point, but
Well,
I'll put into, so today is May 22nd. By August 10th, I think we have a council meeting or two within that period of time to get a status. By August 10th, if the original list isn't done, we move forward with demolition.
But once again, my question is, what is the criteria for demolition? Because I've fixed
so Bob,
everything.
we're not there. We've got someone that made a motion to give you till what was
August
the date?
10th to
August
complete
20.
the work on the original list.
Okay. So is there a second to that motion?
We want to amend that date because I've got that as, I believe that is a Sunday.
Okay, August.
And would you like to make that, that 14th would be a council meeting?
Okay,
Thursday, the 14th?
August 14th.
14. Okay. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next question. Is there a motion for a warning to let Steve get into the property?
How does that work, Kevin? Do we just provide his historic file, or, because I would make that motion based on us having our attorney review the file first, and it's saying if there's a reason to move forward with that, I could support that. But I don't,
I'm gonna meet with Steve on Tuesday about something else, so. I'll talk to him about that and get you an opinion.
Okay.
And address it.
yeah, let's just address it at the next council meeting then.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, how about 210 South Street? Okay,
210 Slate Street.
Slate Street, I'm
So
sorry.
on 210 Slate Street, they have an unsafe structure. It's an accessory building on the property. Roof's caving in on it. Sidewalls are okay. It was open. The owner has closed it up. I did send a notice of violation. The owner is going to complete repairs by September, or either going to complete repairs by September or demolish the structure. And that's what I've got that from the owner in writing.
Okay. Anyone else on the board have any questions before we adjourn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had one more. I would like a copy of the criteria that is being used to declare this house unsafe.
I can email that to you. Happy to.
I'm not talking about the copy of the town ordinance. I'm talking about what you're using for demolition.
But I'll include that with the town ordinance and call out those parts of the town ordinance. Copy your attorney, Mr. Tankersley. I'll let him have it first, and you want him to send it to you, we can do it that way.
We'll communicate with you in an official way and let you know.
You know, I mean, that's my other thing is I didn't even know about this meeting. He told me that he was going to set the meeting for May 8th. That's why I came to the last town council meeting. And that he would let me know what time the meeting was.
How would you like to be served?
It didn't happen.
205 Akron Street?
No, I live at 432 South Ohio Street.
Bobby, sorry,
But
we want to be served at
Yeah, I'm-
432 South Ohio Street.
I'm fine with a phone call or a text.
Now, you need a mail. 432 South Ohio Street.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Go ahead, say it. Say it with Mr. Shardy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you. This President.